Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Let us try to read from the first of the small books written by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. A.C. Bhaktivedanta Srila Prabhupada ki jai. As part of this, today we are starting the reading of the first book. Hare Krishna, let us start. The first book of Srila Prabhupada is the On the Way to Krishna. First chapter, True Way to Happiness. Every one of us is searching after happiness, but we do not know what real happiness is. We see so much about happiness, but practically speaking, we see so few people. This is because so few people know that the platform of real happiness is beyond temporary things. It is this real happiness that is described in the Bhagavad Gita by Lord Krishna to Arjuna. Happiness is generally perceived from through our senses. A stone, for instance, has no senses and cannot perceive happiness and distress. Developed consciousness can perceive happiness and distress. More intensive than undeveloped consciousness are trees. Trees have consciousness, but it is not developed. Trees may stand for a long time in all kinds of weathers, but they have no way of perceiving miseries. If a human being were asked to stand like a tree for only 3 days or even less, he would not be able to tolerate it. The conclusion is that every living being feels happiness or distress according to the degree of development of his consciousness. The happiness that we are experiencing in this material world is not real happiness. If one asks a tree, "Are you feeling happy?" the tree, if it could, might say, "Yes, I am happy, standing here all year. I am enjoying the wind and snowfall very much," etc. This may be enjoyed by the tree, but for the human beings, it is a very low standard of the enjoyment. These are different kinds of or living entities and grades of living entities, and their conception and perception of happiness are also of all different types and grades. Although one animal may see that another animal is being slaughtered, he will go right on chewing grass, for he has no knowledge to understand that he may be next. He is thinking that he is happy, but at the next moment he may be slaughtered. In this way, there are different degrees of happiness, yet of all of them, what is the highest happiness? Sri Krishna tells, Sukam Atyantika Yat Buddhi Grahyam Atindriyam Veti Yatra Na Chaivayam Stitas Shalanti Tatvatah. In that joyous state, Samadhi, one is situated in bondless transcendental happiness, realized through transcendental senses, establishes this, one never departs from the truth. Gita 6.21. Buddhi means intelligent. One has to be intelligent if you want to enjoy. Animals do not have really development intelligence, so cannot enjoy life as a human being can. The hands, the nose, the eyes, and the other sense organs and all the bodily parts may be present on a dead man, but he cannot enjoy. Why not? The enjoying energy, the spiritual spark, has left, and therefore the body has no power. If one looks further into the matter with a little intelligence, he can understand that it was not the body, that was enjoying at all, but the small spiritual spark that was within. Although one may think that he is enjoying by the bodily sense organs, the real enjoyer is that spiritual spark. That spiritual spark always has the potency of enjoying. But it is not always manifest due to being covered by the material tabernacle. Although we may not be aware of it, it is not possible for the body to experience enjoyment without the presence of this spiritual spark. If a man is offered the dead body of a beautiful woman, will he accept it? No, because the spiritual spark has moved out of the body. Not only was it enjoying within the body, but it was maintaining the body. When the spark leaves, the body simply deteriorates. It follows that if the spirit is enjoying, it must have its senses also. Otherwise, how it enjoys? The Vedas confirm that the spiritual spark or soul, although atomic in size, is the actual enjoying agent. It is not possible to measure the soul. But that is not to say that it is without measurement. An object may seem to us to be no bigger than a point and may seem to have length or width. But when we perceive it under a microscope, we can see that it has both length and width. Similarly, the soul also has its dimensions, but we cannot perceive them. When we buy a suit or dress, it is made to fit the body. The spiritual spark must have form, otherwise how is it the material body has grown to accommodate it? The conclusion is that the spiritual spark is not impersonal. It is an actual person. God is an actual person, and the spiritual spark, being a fragmented part of him, is also a person. If the Father has personality and individuality, the Son also has them. And if the Son has them, we can conclude that the Father has them. So, how can we, as sons of God, assert our personality and individuals and at the same time deny them to our Father, the Supreme Lord? Atindriyam means that we have to transcend these material senses before we can appreciate real happiness. Ramante yogino nante satyananda chidatmani. The yogis who are aspiring after spiritual life are also tasting enjoyment by focusing on the super soul within. If there is no pleasure, if there is no enjoyment, then what is the point of going to so much trouble to control the senses? What kind of pleasure are the yogis relishing? If they are taking so much trouble, that pleasure is ananta, endless. How is this? The spirit soul is eternal and the Supreme Lord is eternal. Therefore, reciprocation of their loving exchanges is eternal. One who is actually intelligent will refrain from the flickering sexually enjoyment of this material body and fix his enjoyment in spiritual life. His participation in spiritual life with the Supreme Lord is called Rasalila. We have often heard of Krishna's Rasalila with the cowherd girls in Vrindavan. That is not like ordinary exchanges that takes place between these material bodies. Rather, it is an exchange of feelings through spiritual bodies. One has to be somewhat intelligent to understand this. For a foolish man who cannot understand what real happiness is, seeks happiness in this material world. In India, there is a story of a man who did not know that what is sugarcane was and was told that it was very sweet to chew. Oh, what does it look like? He asked her. It looks just like a bamboo rod. Someone said, so the foolish man began to chew all kinds of bamboo rods. How can he begin to experience the sweetness of sugar cane? Similarly, we are trying to get happiness and pleasure, but we are trying for them by chewing this material body. Therefore, there is no happiness and there is no pleasure. For the time being, there may be some little feeling of pleasure but that is not actual pleasure, for it is temporary. It is like a show of lightning which we may see flashing in the sky that may momentarily seem like lightning, but the real lightning is beyond that, because a person does not really know what happiness is. He deviates from real happiness. The process for establishing oneself in real happiness is the process of Krishna consciousness. By Krishna consciousness, we can gradually develop our real intelligence and naturally enjoy relishing spiritual happiness as we make spiritual progress. As we begin to relish spiritual happiness, we proportionately abandon material happiness. As we make progress in understanding the absolute truth, we naturally become detached from this false happiness. If someone or other one is promoted to that stage of Krishna consciousness, what is the result? Yam labda vacha param labdam manyate nadikam tata yasmin sthito na dukkena guru napi vichalyate. Upon gaining this, he thinks there is no greater gain. Being situated in such position, one is never shaken, even in the midst of greatest difficulty. Bhagavad Gita 6.22. When one attains that stage, other achievements appear insignificantly. In this material world, we are trying to achieve so many things: riches, woman, fame, beauty, knowledge, etc. etc. But as soon as we are situated in Krishna consciousness, we think, oh, no achievement is better than this. Krishna consciousness is so potent that a little taste can save one from the greatest danger. As one begins to relish the taste of Krishna consciousness, he begins to see other so-called enjoyments and attainments as flat and tasteless. And if one is situated firmly in Krishna consciousness, the greater danger cannot disturb him. There are so many dangers in life because the material world is a place of danger. We tend to close our eyes to this, and because we are foolish, we try to adjust to these dangers. We may have many dangerous moments in our lives, but if we are training ourselves in Krishna consciousness and preparing ourselves to go home back to Godhead, we will not care for them. Our attitude will then be, dangerous come and go, so let them happen. It is very difficult to make this kind of adjustment as long as one is on the materialistic platform and is identifying with the gross body, which is composed of perishable elements. But the more one advances in Krishna consciousness, the more he becomes free from bodily designation and this material entanglement. In Srimad Bhagavatam, the material world is compared to a greatest ocean. Within this material universe, there are millions and billions of planets floating in space, and we can just imagine how many Atlantic and Pacific oceans are there. In fact, the whole material universe is likened to a great ocean of misery, an ocean of birth and death. In order to cross this great ocean of necessities, a strong boat is needed. That strong boat is the lotus feet of Krishna. We should immediately get aboard that boat. We should not hesitate thinking that Krishna's feet are very small. The whole universe is simply resting on his leg. For one who takes shelter of his feet, it is said that the material universe is no more significant than a puddle of water found in the impression of a calf's hoof print. There is certainly no difficulties in crossing over such a small puddle. Tam vidya dukkha samyoga viyoga yoga samjita. This indeed is actual freedom from all miseries arising from material content. Gita 6.23. We are entangled in this material world because to uncontrolled senses. The yoga process is meant to control these senses. If we can manage to control the senses, we can turn our face to actual spiritual happiness and makes our lives successful. Sanichayena yoktavyo yoga nirvina chetasa sankalpa prabhavan kamams त्यक्त्वा सर्वं अशेषत माना सर्वेन्द्रियग्रामं विनियम्य समन्ततः सन्नैर् उपरामेत् बुद्धायादितिहितया आत्मा संस्थां मनकृत्य न किञ्चित् अपि चिन्तयत् यतो निश्चलति मनश्चञ्चलमास्थिरं ततस्ततो नियम्यात् यैतत् आत्मन्येवावसंनयत्. One should engage oneself in the practice of yoga with undeviating determination and faith and not be deviated from the path. One should abandon without expectation all material desires born of mental speculation and thus control our senses on all sides of the mind. Gradually, step by step, with full conventions, one should become situated in trance of means of intelligence sustained by full convictions, and thus the mind should be fixed on the self alone and should think of nothing else. From wherever the mind wanders due to its flickering and unsteady nature, one must certainly withdraw it and bring it back under the control of the self. Bhagavad Gita 6.24 to 26. The mind is always disturbed. It is going sometimes this way and sometimes that way. By yoga practice, we literally drag the mind to Krishna consciousness. The mind strays from Krishna consciousness to so many exterior objects because from time immemorial, life after life, that has been our practice. Due to this, there may be great difficulty in the beginning when one tries to fix his mind in Krishna consciousness, but these difficulties can all be overcome. It is because the mind is agitated and not fixed on Krishna that it goes from one truth to another. For instance, when we engaged in work, memorials of events that happened 10, 20, 30 or 40 years ago may suddenly come to our mind for no apparent reasons. These truths come from our subconscious, and because they are always rising, the mind is always agitating. If we agitate a lake or a pond, all the mud from the bottom comes to the surface. Similarly, when the mind is agitated, so many thoughts arise from the subconscious that have been stored there over the years. If we do not disturb a pond and the mud will settle to the bottom. This yoga process is the means to quiet the mind and allow all these thoughts to settle. For this there are so many rules and regulations to follow in order to keep the mind from becoming agitated. If we follow the rules and regulations, gradually the mind will come under control. There are so many don'ts, so many do's. And if one is seriously about training the mind, he has to follow them. If we act whimsically, what is the possibility of the mind being controlled? When the mind is finally trained to the point where it will think of nothing but Krishna, it will attain peace and will become very tranquil. Prashanta manasam hayenam yoginam sukamattamam upaiti santarajasam brahma bhutam akalmasham. The yogi whose mind is fixed on me verily attains the highest perfection of transcendental happiness. He is beyond the modes of passion. He realizes his qualitative identity with the Supreme, and thus he is freed from all reactions to past deeds. Bhagavad Gita 6.27. The mind is always conquering objects for happiness. I am always thinking, this will make me happy or that will make me happy. Happiness is here, there, in all. In this way, the mind is taking us anywhere and everywhere. It is all a thought. We are riding on a chariot behind an unbridled horse. We may know power over where we are going, but can only sit in honor and watch helplessly. As soon as the mind is agitated in the process of Hare Krishna consciousness, specifically by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, then the wild horses of the mind will gradually come under our control. We must engage in Krishna's service every moment of our lives in order to keep the restless and turbulent mind from dragging us from one object to another object in a vain search for happiness in the temporary material world. Yunjanevam sadatmanam yogi vigata kalmashaha sukena brahma samsparsham atyantam sukamashnute. Thus the self-controlled yogi, constantly engaged in yoga practice, becomes free from all material contaminations and achieve the highest stage of perfect happiness in transcendental loving service to the Lord. Bhagavad Gita 6.28. Krishna serves as a patron for one who is devoted to him. When one is in difficulty, his patron saves him. As stated in this Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is the real friend of every living entity, and we have to revive our friendship with him. The method for reviving this friendship is the process of Krishna consciousness. By practice of Krishna consciousness, mundane passionate hankering will come to a stop. This passionate hankering keeps us divorced from Krishna. Krishna is within us and is waiting for us to turn to him. Because we are too busy passionately eating the fruits of the trees of the material desires, the passionate compulsion to enjoy these fruits must stop, and we must situate ourselves in our real identity as Brahman, pure spirit. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. First chapter of True Way of Happiness is completed. Hare Krishna.